in our Patreon exclusive thing. So yeah. All right, let's get to Winnipesaukee.
The penultimate episode.
That is one of my
of
favorite
The
words, by the
Expanse.
way. Penultimate. I don't know if you know that about me or
Yeah.
not, but
Yeah.
so like you're the penultimate host, like co-host.
I don't know about that.
You could beat. I'm kidding. No. So no. I keep calling it Lake Winnipesaukee. The episode, even though that's not what it was. This again, we were talking about this before we started to air. There is a section of this episode that I feel like they should have just dumped outright and given us more of the good stuff.
Yeah. And it was by far my least favorite part of the episode.
Yes. And I know I liked last week's episode a little more than you.
Right.
I'm guessing you probably liked this episode more than me.
Yeah, because what I liked about it, I loved about it. And there was only one thing I didn't like at all, and then there was some other stuff that there was one other thing I was lukewarm about.
Okay. So,
but yeah.
So some things I really liked, because I want to start off on a positive note. I really liked that the Screaming Firehawk had damage to one of the little shuttlecock like protuberances out of the back from when that missile exploded that we had not seen yet. I thought that was really cool and a nice bit of continuity. We have not gotten nearly enough Bobbie and Alex this season, and that is a high crime against Expansdom.
Oh, absolutely. And I was thinking when I watched it again this morning, and that's when I saw them, in the Screaming Firehawk, that was the first thing I went through my mind. It's like, we just did not get enough of these two characters.
No, not at all. I mean, we got a little bit of them on Mars, and then they stuck them in the shuttlecock and sent them out into space. Goodbye.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that we needed more of was the Rossi. We got a little bit, and it was more Bull and Monica telling Holden, no, you can't go after Naomi. We don't have the fuel for it. And, I don't think they realize who they're dealing with.
I did. I love the look Holden gave Bull when he said that.
Yeah.
Or no, when he said that everything just ends up dead, and he's like, sorry.
Oh yeah,
wrong choice of words.
Because Holden's still running around with armor on. Like he's ready. He's ready to, in prison terms, he's ready to cut a bitch.
Yeah, and also, to kind of piggyback off what we said about Alex and Bobbie, we have not gotten enough Holden this season.
No. Well, I told you, I don't think Steve Strait could be listed as the head of the cast right now because he's essentially a reoccurring character.
Yeah, he is. And I understand because of how everything is developing and from a story standpoint, why they are, why everybody's separated. But with that being said, particularly this episode, we should have been able to get more Holden and less of Drummer and her crew and all that drama.
In Nemesis game, Holden is on Tycho for most of the book, and he's putting together why all these ships are disappearing and where these ships are going. Like,
right,
with the Free Navy and with the gate, the ring gate, and certain things. And, we didn't have any of that. We didn't have him hiring the lady to break into the Free Navy code base and Medina Station. And, it's just, they sidelined the cornerstone of the show.
Right. And one of the things we've been very, complimentary about this show is how they've taken stuff and parse things from the book
Mm-hmm.
and put it to screen. And I have to say that as much as, don't get me wrong, I really enjoyed this season. From as a whole, I really enjoyed this season. But there have been decisions they've made where I haven't been particularly fond of, especially, and I'm focusing in on their treatment of Holden's character and what they haven't really done with him.
Right.
And that's not probably, that's definitely my number one gripe for this season.
Mm-hmm.
And then secondly would be Bobbie and Alex.
So, yeah, and then I'm going to add a third one to that, and it's the stuff happening back on Earth. Because Earth got a major attack. And it seems like it is such a small, isolated thing to wherever Amos happens to be at the moment.
I guess in that, and again, so I really enjoyed everything that happened with the whole Amos thing on Winnipesaukee.
Yeah.
But do you mean like you're not really getting the full,
you don't get the scope of the fact that Earth is dying.
Right. Okay.
Like we open the episode.
No, you really don't.
We open the episode with Avasarala, putting Arjun's digital headstone in the spinny vortex of headstones. And like you get a view of that, right? Where when it pans out and you see that it's going, however high the ceiling of that dome is. But there's a whole lot of white space in between each one of those title cards or whatever, digital gravestones. And, it's like, okay, these are just the people from Luna who are putting their dead ones, dead friends and family up for remembrance. But like, we're not hearing anything about the fact that like, there's a nuclear winter coming. There is crops faltering all over the place. They didn't bother to like touch on Holden's parents at all.
No, a few episodes ago or earlier on, they said he'd lost contact with them.
Right, that was
it.
He's
that's another thing where they've kind of dropped, like in Holden's story, they've dropped the ball on, and that is something. As much as he wants to find Naomi, he very much would want to try to make contact with his parents, and
right.
they've not even given him a scene where he's trying to make contact with them.
No,
again,
none
or
dropping
whatsoever. A message to them.
Like, because he does care about those people. He's just never going back to, well, I mean, he went back to Earth already, but yeah, it's just, again, I love what they've done with Naomi this season. I really do. And I feel like some of that has also been at the expense of the rest of the story.
Yeah. And again, she didn't get a lot of time this week, but again, Dominique Tipper, in the short time she does get,
yeah, I mean,
just continues to impress. And
Dominique Tipper is crushing it this season. So I'm not necessarily complaining about like, her whatever is too much. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, we learned way more about Marco and Philip than we needed to. They've almost humanized Philip too much.
I could see where you're saying that, and I like how you said almost. It's that that's a tough one for me. I would actually, as much as I do like what they've done with him, I would rather them have pulled back a little bit and focused a little bit more on our core characters.
Yeah. Because any kind of redemption that Philip may or may not get will not be earned at this point. It's just literally going to be given. And they've also made us, well, part of this is because Keon Alexander is amazing. Marco was far too likable, because we've spent so much time with him. It's like I told you, when I saw It, which I still never saw chapter 2, but It chapter 1, like by the end, because there was so much Pennywise, it's like, oh, he's kind of cute. Oh, look at that cute dancing clown. Oh, I just want to pat his head. Here, eat my hand. I don't care.
So-
You're so cute.
So the less you want to go, that less is more route.
Absolutely. Like, you know,
Like
Marco
just,
is
for a
supposed
villain,
to be-
I think, unless it's their story. Like, for instance, Infinity War. Infinity War was it wasn't about the Avengers. It was about Thanos.
correct.
And so when you have that, okay, because that's different. But in something like this, I agree, where less is more. And as much as I've loved Keon Alexander's performance, which again, it's been brilliant, if they would parse down a few scenes here and there and then redistributed it to our, our core cast, I think that would have made for a more satisfying season for me.
Yeah, I mean,
as
you've
much
got
as I like the season.
Yeah, you've got the Earth Gov all like, which Belter stronghold are we gonna bomb next, right? They've done nothing to show us that, like, other than the fact that, like, allegedly Marco and Norris dropped some rocks on Earth. They've done nothing to warrant that level of response, because we haven't seen the Free Navy wiping out ships. The season has been the season was supposed to be this. Well, no, but I know it's not allegedly. But this season's supposed to be like expansive and like showing how big the galaxy has gotten, and we just have these. Pun intended. We have these just tiny pockets of people that we're getting glimpses at a time in space. Honestly, the only characters that we've seen where there's any level of danger or stakes is Amos.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Naomi too, just because like she keeps taking in so much CO2, and she's obviously going to have lung issues after this. She's going to be able to sue for the mesothelioma, whatever those commercials were when we were kids. Remember, if you breathe in asbestos, call this number. Mesothelioma. That's what it is. Mesothelioma. She's definitely gonna be having like some lung issues from there, where she's gonna be a part of a class action lawsuit against the Free Navy, I assume. But yeah, it's just
that's a great point you just made about showing the pockets. Again, when this was on Sci-Fi Channel, you understood, because they had limited budget and everything. If something like, and again, don't get me wrong, Sci-Fi did a great job with this show. I was expecting more. Like, for example, they mentioned there was a firefight between the 5 Free Navy ships and then some Martian and some UN ships.
Right.
And we get the report on what happens
from the Free Navy,
but that's it.
From that horrific Carol character.
Oh, God. Yeah.
So, we don't see the UN actually talking about like, well, we lost a capital ship and the Martians lost 2 Donager class ships, and oh my God, they sank my battleship. We're not getting any of that. And the one scene where we saw the Pella, whatever he renamed it, flying through, and you saw those Free Navy ships. It's like, is this all they have? No, it's not. They have hundreds of ships, and and they have the proto molecule.
Yeah, it goes beyond. Yeah, it goes beyond showing too, because there are certain instances, like you said, they could have said, could have talked about on Luna, I should say, on Luna. What are the capabilities of this Free Navy? We've never gotten that. No. We've gotten, okay, we need to strike back.
Yeah.
And that's it. And there have been no type of, brainstorming, like, what are their capabilities? What are their locations? Any of this stuff that would go into a battle plan, we have gotten just say, okay, where should we strike? That's it.
Right.
Like, not, okay, what are our resources? What are the Martian resources as far as ships and stuff like that? What is the UN, where are our battle class cruisers at? Where are these at? None of that stuff, none of that type of chess of, positioning assets has gone on. No. And this absolutely would have gone on.
Like the fun political...
It's become a detriment.
Yeah, the fun, like, political side to this show is completely gone. completely gone. Like
and
Avasarala's
and when I was
machinations and like what you're talking about, like it should have been that game of chess between Inaros and everybody else.
Yes, absolutely. And when I said like my issues like that this is the part of it, because yes, there were a couple cool aspects, but it in a way it came off as more preachy and less about, okay, what do we have to do to, one, shore up our defenses of Earth, and two, go after this son of a bitch.
Yeah.
That we get none of that. We just get people saying, okay, we're going to do this because of reasons.
Yeah. All right. So the other thing, instead of this episode being called Winnipesaukee, it should have been called the demoralization of Camina drummer.
So I told you before we started, when this season first started and you saw Oksana as far, being, I can't remember the word she uses of what she means to
her wife,
Camina, but I really liked Oksana.
Yeah.
I remember I really like this character. I've done a complete 180 on her. And one of the things I wrote, when I take notes, I'll just read for the drummer and Oksana. They're going to be finished. There's no way they're going to be able to, make up after this, because yes, we understand Oksana is scared for herself and then those she loves.
Mm-hmm.
But the way she is treated, her lover, her wife, her captain,
right,
is nigh unforgivable.
Nigh unforgivable. I love it. Yeah, no, I mean, I told you when Drummer was talking to her and Oksana was in the airlock, Drummer should have just spaced her.
And man, Cara G, again, like we talk about Kiana Alexander.
Yeah.
I love her as Drummer. Like, she's
like,
how much shit do I have to take for you to respect me?
Right. And I'm sorry, but like, if she doesn't kill Carol at some point, like, why put her through this? Why? It's so, and I know knowing where the character's going, right, is one thing just from the books, because there's no way they're not gonna do what she ends up doing, right? But the fact that they're making us wait a whole season, this kind of felt this season, like in retrospect, looking at it as a whole, it kind of feels like season 3 of Lost, where they just decided to spin their wheels for 10 episodes. And, they've given us some cool stuff, but like we're in no different place from when they launched The Rock at the end of season 4. And this episode that to me greatly.
It's so everything for me, honestly, it started off very well as moving forward. And again, we're talking, things can be good and sit still, but a show like this, you need to move forward.
Right. It's a shark.
This does kind of, and this episode, particularly with Drummer's character and how little we've gotten of Holden and some of the things, it is kind of, I can see where you're talking about you spinning. In the only one that's kind of been really moving forward consistently has been Amos, right. And that's because he has to go from place to place.
Yeah,
he had to go to Baltimore and and find Eric, and from there him and Peaches had to get to Winnipesaukee. They had to get the ship working. They had to get up to Luna. Now they're on their way to Luna. He's been consistently moving forward in a satisfactory way for me. Mm-hmm. Everyone else has had pockets of great, have pockets of entertaining, scenes and, poignant things. But yeah, like you said, again, with the whole Avasarala thing spinning in place, the drummer thing spinning in place, Naomi didn't get a lot, she has to be in place. That's,
right.
Just because of,
but Naomi's character has moved forward, like,
yes.
Like Naomi got the lion's share of the season, and that, there's nothing wrong with that, but the fact that they did all these little side stories that haven't gone anywhere. You know, ever since Naomi left on the Chetsmoka, it has just been that. She left on the Chetsmoka. And how will she survive?
Yeah. And honestly, as much as, like I said, we've liked Keon Alexander, we really haven't needed to see him that much. We shouldn't. They could have cut in half how much we've seen him since Naomi, jumped ship.
Right.
And it would have been fine.
Right. So, I don't know. I think they have a lot to do in the season finale. And if it's only, 45, 50 minutes long, it's not going to be long enough. And they're going to leave us on such a cliffhanger, and we have no idea when the show's coming back. It's just going to be kind of disappointing because the season did start off super strong, and it's just kind of fizzling here.
Yeah. And it's not that it's going to be a cliffhanger. It's going to be an unfinished cliffhanger.
Yeah.
There are cliffhangers that, and Expanse has done such a good job, not just from seasons, but from episode cliffhangers.
Right.
And I believe, I agree with your point in the sense that there's going to be something incomplete about it. It's not just because we're going to be left hanging. We're going to be left hanging and we didn't get what we deserved.
Correct.
From a story perspective. So. But again, I did love everything everything about Amos, the whole Winnipesaukee saga, if you will.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't even talked
Amos
about that.
and Peaches and Eric. I mean, all of that was great.
I just got to say, private security has no idea what they're dealing with when it comes to Timmy. And, these people, kind of try and step to Amos because they think he's just some dumb guy. And it's like, he's one of the more brilliant battle tactician people that they have in the show.
Yes.
He could do Delgado's job and be great at it.
Yeah. Although he'd probably need our boy Holden to
he would need Holden to temper him from, going out and just straight up murdering everybody. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we don't need murder claws there.
Yeah.
But
seeing how much Clarissa has changed, for better or for worse. And the reason I say that last part is because in that scene where was it? I think it's Pinkwater Security.
Yeah, it's Pinkwater.
And I love Eric. He's like, dude, this is the worst shakedown I've ever seen in my life.
The look that he gave to Amos was just they're like, oh God, look at what these two are trying to do, or look what these guys are trying to do to us. Should we just kill them now? And to your point, for better or for worse, Clarissa got a lot of people killed this episode.
Oh, absolutely, because that's what Amos says. It's like, they're going to come back, right? And I don't remember what movie that was or what show, but it was like, I'm paraphrasing. It's like sometimes people need a killing, and this is an example of if you're in a situation where basically chaos is going on, or if you're in Mad Max's world, this is no longer civilized society, and that's a perfect example of for better or for worse. She has changed, which is great, but she put people's lives needlessly at risk because she's changed, instead of letting the people who know this situation deal with it in the way it needed to be dealt with.
Mm-hmm. Your quote is from a book, The Night Trade. Did you ever watch that? Or read that? I don't know. The quote is, some people just need killing. So, but it still works. But no, it's, I don't know. This was it was from World of Warcraft as well. Sorry. No. Yeah, the thing though is Clarissa did what needed to be done at one point as well in the episode.
Yes, she did.
and so, I think because and again, this is things where they showed us what was happening with her this whole time, and she's trying to be a good person, and she thinks being a good person is saving everybody. And she saw the forgiveness that Holden gave to her by not spacing her, and she sees kindred spirit in Amos as far as like a monster, and that's how she views herself. But as she's gotten to know Amos, she realizes like, yes, he's a monster, but also he's trying to not be. And so her trying to not be was just an overcorrection. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely. Yeah. There's not at all.
And
right.
I joking, she got a lot of people killed. I mean, she really did, but like she didn't mean to. That wasn't her intention. And at the same time, she was able to save a lot of people because she understood like, hold on, I have to have a balance here. And I love the fact that we only heard the screams.
I did like that. Yeah.
Like, again, that's that like Jaws in the water thing, because when she killed the guy on his homestead, you just saw her like that frantic, like Chris Nolan style of fighting, where it's just up close, just shaking the camera as someone screams. That was okay, but I would have much rather seen the aftermath, like we got to. I will say my favorite scene of the entire episode was her and Timmy in the cockpit, and Timmy's Eric, sorry, her and Eric in the cockpit when he says, "Why does he call you Peaches?" And she's like, "I don't know. Why do you call him Timmy?" And he's like, "'Cause that's his name." Like he got all offended.
And she's like, "Should I ask?
Should I ask?" And he goes, "I wouldn't."
Yeah. I love their conversation. Yeah, that was my favorite scene. Or the action scene. The shootout was great. I mean, when you were talking about the only one that's been in peril has been Amos, and again, I know he wasn't going to die, but then at the same time, like when he gets that ricochet and he's just like stunned, just like walking around, and then Hutch grabbed, which again, by the way, I really like her.
Yeah, shout out to Hutch. She was great in the book, and she was even better in the show because I don't remember the actress's name who plays her, but she brings like your favorite word to the table with that character. Because gravitas, because she controls, she's able to seamlessly go back and forth between what Amos's world is and what Timmy's world is, or Eric's world is.
Eric's world.
Timmy. That's the other thing all I can think of is when he calls him Timmy. But
yeah. So I look at Clarissa or Peaches as a de facto for now Holden for Amos, because again, to your point, you said she saved lives, because if she wasn't there, Amos wasn't going to help those people get away.
He was going to kill those people.
Well, not just.
I'm talking about the winter staff.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He
would just kill them to make them go away.
Yeah, because she was there, he walked away. He was like, "Okay, we can't help you. Bye, peace. Do whatever you got to do.
Peace out, bitches." But
it's because of her that those people got away. And like he even tells Timmy. See, I'm doing it now. He even tells Eric, like when Eric looks at him after, he's like, "Shut up." It's like just shut up.
Shut up, Richard.
So everything on there, and again, the talk that they have, the talk that Eric and Peaches has about tribes and everything like that.
Yeah,
that was another very human moment of these two people, and Eric was like, he's like, "Jesus, where did he get you at? Serving a life sentence for multiple homicides?" And he just like looks over at her. Like,
"I'm gonna be a lot nicer to you."
Yeah,
it's a great line. Anyway. I mean, so there was actual good stuff, but at the same time, this episode really highlighted all of the flaws in this season. Yeah. All of them.
And I think it's one of those things, to me, is because I've liked these episodes so much individually for the most part, I haven't seen the cracks in the foundation as much as, and this episode really shows those cracks to me.
Well, it's because the whole drummer Free Navy thing was a gaping sinkhole that is bringing the rest of the story down, when the parts of the Free Navy that have elevated the show are now suffering because of what's happening with the drummer ships.
Yeah, I'd agree.
And that has nothing to do with Cara G, by the way. She is awesome. It's everyone around her. So I was thinking, and I wrote this down in my notes. Whenever it's one of her crew communicating with someone else, when drummer's not in the room, those scenes drag because neither Oksana or Carol, I feel, are very good actresses. They're not engaging. Like, I really don't care. It's like, okay, just say what you're going to say and bring drummer back in, because then it gets interesting, because then you guys have to work to act up to Cara G's level. And she brings you up to her level. Let's really put it that way.
Yeah, there is something missing. And I guess with Carol and Oksana, I wasn't sure if it was because I just can't stand those two characters anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And not in a sense of, and it's not like I can't stand Marco, but I love watching him on screen.
Right.
I can't stand the characters, and they're not engaging enough to make me care about their characters.
So I'm going to disagree for a second. They've given a ton of red meat to Carol and Oksana to play with this season, and neither one of them have been playing with fire.
Oh no! What I mean by like engaging, I'm talking about the actresses themselves.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying too. Those actresses have been given a ton of red meat to play with, and they're not up to that task.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So yeah.
So we agree. It's just, they're not cooking with gas, as Guy Fieri would say. Yeah. I don't know. So I think out of 5 Pinkwater soldiers dead in the snow, I'm gonna go with a 3 for this episode.
Yeah, I have it at a 3.5.
So yeah, did you like that one? Dead Pinkwater soldiers.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. All right. So I don't know. It's just.
I'm really hoping that we get shocked and it's like a 90-minute finale.
Dude, we have to. I'm not watching previews or reading any like synopses for what's coming or anything like that. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I haven't either. Sometimes you have to watch out because I follow the page on Instagram and they'll show a scene from a coming up episode.
Yeah.
So I just.
You mean at this point your Instagram the algorithm isn't just showing you CrossFit girls?
No, I have because jujitsu and all this.
Mine is like almost all one wheel.
So. How many one wheel pages are there? Do you have on there?
Probably millions. I don't know, thousands at least. But yeah, I mean, it's great. It's an awesome community. The people are amazing. Oh, it's. Let me rephrase that. It's all one wheel and then yak face.
I stopped following Yak Face just because I didn't want to like when I say stop following, I hid Yak Face because I'm trying to temper how much stuff I get. So if I can't see it, then I don't know it's there.
All right, so here's a funny Yak Face story. And if you guys know what we're talking about, you know. And if not, just go look up Yak Face on Instagram. So he posted the Maul and Ahsoka vintage series figures. And it's like, these are from Dorkside. So I just went to Dorkside and I pre-ordered them. And then I sent the link to everybody. And everyone's like, this is a 404 page. And it's like, I never get lucky like that where like they accidentally put something up and I get to pre-order it. Never, ever, ever. I'm always the last one. And I'm always like, I might, if I get it, it's like, I got it. And then nobody else is getting it. I'm like the very last one. And I'm never just, so. And I was worried for a second too, but then I got the confirmation email. So I was like, whew. And then I checked back today and it's in my pre-orders. So, but that being said, I have far too many pre-orders for toys going on right now.
Yeah, I cut down a couple. Like I canceled a couple.
Yeah. Well, like I want that Commander Bly. I need to finish out with Sabine and Hera, in Ahsoka for the new Rebels figures. Just because I have to have them all, and that marks the third.
Like Pokemon, gotta catch them all.
Yeah, but it marks the third of those like figures I have. But like I have the Ahsoka hot toy pre-ordered, and that's not even until next December, or this December 2021. And I was looking at some hot toy stuff, and it's like spring 2022. I'm like, I think I might need to pre-order this, and I have not, but but like I have
it's a year away,
like the Aang and Korra statues I have a Zuko one pre-ordered now. So
that was pretty. Those
dude, the Zuko one is
looking.
So sweet because 1 is season 3 Zuko, and 2 is season 3 Zuko from when he's fighting Azula. So which is hands down my all-time favorite animated scene ever.
Yeah,
so,
I haven't gotten there yet. I'm almost finished with season 2. Though,
yeah,
so.
their Agni Kai at the end is amazing and beautiful, and like it gets dusty every time I watch it. So yeah. All right. On that note, do you got anything else?
Nope.
All right. Thanks to Matt and Julian for helping us out on Patreon. You guys can join them by going to patreon.com/infamouspodcast and sign up. We've got a bunch of cool perks. I got a ton of cool stickers just waiting to be mailed to you. If you back our top tier, there is a t-shirt in your future, and we have cool ass t-shirts thanks to Flying Pork Apparel. We do have cool shirts.
Yeah, I really like that last one you got me.
Oh, the X-Men Krakoan. It says Infamous Podcast in Krakoan. Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
The hat. The hat is really cool. I finally got the Bills properly hillbillied, so I'm very excited. Between that and make Orwell fiction again. So anyway, all right, on that note, thank you guys for listening, and we will talk to you next week. And don't forget, our WandaVision commentary is up now. If you're hearing this on Sunday or after, it went up on Saturday night. So thanks for listening. The Infamous Podcast is recorded in Kings Mills, Ohio, just north of Cincinnati, with new episodes out every Sunday. You can find more information about the show online at infamouspodcast.com or on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as @infamouspodcast. You can subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcatching app. If you're enjoying the show, consider giving us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts, or check out our Patreon at patreon.com/infamouspodcast for our new tiers and rewards. The Infamous Podcast is hosted and produced by me, Brian Tudor, with music provided by Michael Henry from MeetMichaelHenry.com. You can find me on social media on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as @BrianTudor. So, whenever you're listening to the show, have a great day, night, evening, weekend, whenever it is, and we'll see you next time.